This is a historic day here in the city of Brockton. Just look at the turnout. It speaks volumes right here, and I see so many elected officials here. I see a district attorney, I see the senator, I see the sheriff back there, Bishop Branch. I see council president is here, Jack Lally. I see Rita Mendez is here. I'm trying to see Shirley Azak, Councilor Azak's here as well. Did I miss anybody else? All right. So again, I do apologize for being tardy, but I do want to just, first of all, thank you all for being here. I want to thank the Hodges family. I want to thank Jamie and Jasmine. You know, Brockton is a lot of firsts, right? I mean, we could talk about Thomas Edison, first electrified fire station, electrified movie theater, electrified street light. You could talk about when I became mayor, the first pride flag raising and trans flag raising. Today's another first in the City of Champions. The African American flag is going to be raised. It's an awesome, awesome thing. So I do personally want to just thank Jamie and Jasmine and Cynthia and James and everybody in the Hodges family, what you do every day to better Brockton. I want to thank, of course, the African American Association, which was created and just founded recently. And if you are interested in joining, please reach out to either Jamie or Jasmine on that. Today, February 1st, is just a beautiful day because it does mark the beginning of a wonderful month. Black History Month starts today, and the city of Brockton will welcome it and embrace it and love it. I also want to thank my Chief of Staff, Sydney Merrill, for everything she does every day. Today we will raise proudly this African American flag, and again, it's here at City Hall. In an ideal world, we'd be outside, but weather didn't accommodate for this. But you know what? This is what Brockton is meaning, right? Coming together as a community. You look around the room and you see diversity. That's what Brockton is. So today is just another wonderful day of the community coming together, community embracing a common purpose and a common vision. And it's to welcome and to embrace and to love. And I want to thank Yolanda Tender for being here, who is our first, and again, another historic week. On Monday, she was the first Inclusion and Diversity Manager for the city of Brockton. Many of you know that my dad was a history teacher at Brockton High for almost 40 years. And history means something to me personally as the son of a history teacher. And to learn about Brockton's history is vital. You need to know not just about the name of Brockton or the acronym City of Champions, but what does Brockton mean? What has Brockton done? So when you talk about Brockton, you can talk about the city, the town of North Bridgewater, always welcomed the liberation of slaves that fled the South. I mean, the Underground Railroad stops were real. They were here in Brockton. At the time it was called High Street. Now we probably have changed it to Frederick Douglass Avenue. The Liberty Tree is there. If you haven't seen the Liberty Tree, I encourage you, please go and see the Liberty Tree. That's where Frederick Douglass he himself personally came to Brockton. And he stood at that tree and he preached. And William Lloyd Garrison was giving speeches there as well. So again, leaders would meet at the tree and it stood tall. And even though itself, the original tree died over time, like anything that's rooted, it grew. And there's a new branch that grows there now. And in the old hotel, the Grayson Hotel across the street, which is owned by the BRA, and I know Robert Jenkins here, and it's going to be sold. Myself and some of my team members here in my office, we took a tour recently, and what was in the basement of the old Grayson? Pieces of the Liberty Tree. Pieces of the actual Liberty Tree that the city is going to be able to retain before that hotel is sold. And we're going to use it because we have to preserve history. And this is what the Plymouth County DA's office has when you walk into their atrium. This is what it is. This is an actual piece of the tree. So again, to talk about the tree, to talk about Frederick Douglass himself or Mr. Garrison, you need to also talk about the history of what City of Champions means. And you talk about the best undisputed middleweight champion of the world of all time, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Yes. Right? He passed away last year, but Marvelous Marvin, if you were fortunate enough to know the man or know the family, that's what Brockton is. You know, he might have got robbed in that Sugar Ray fight. He did get robbed in that Sugar Ray fight. But, you know, he never forgot Brockton. And even when he was in Italy or up in New Hampshire, Brockton was home. And so where Marvin trained every day on Petronelli Way, that gym, which used to be Ward Street and now it's Petronelli Way, is going to be converted to housing. It's going to be, again, earmarking what history is about. It's right across from the late Mayor Bill Carpenter garage. So, you know, I am the biggest cheerleader when it comes to Brockton. And when we talk about Brockton as a whole, we need to talk about not just the past, right? We learn from the past to forge ahead, right? But we have to look at the future and the next generation and what the next group of Brocktonians are going to bring, right? We can create the building blocks for success, and we've done that, but we need to step it up, ladies and gentlemen. So when I became mayor, I met Shalala Gilmer, right? And what did Shalala do? She created Black-Owned Brockton. Black-Owned Brockton. What did we do? We embraced it. We went up to the Westgate Mall and we spent money, and it was at the old Stacey Adams. You know, this is what we need to do as a community at all times. It doesn't matter if you're white, you're black, you're Irish, Italian, Cape Verdean, Haitian, you're a Brocktonian. And we always have to remember that. We always have to remember that. So again, in about a month's time now, we're going to be able to go across the street and we're going to be able to buy a beer if you drink, and I like to have a beer, at the first black-owned brewery in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Brockton Beer. Just another first. Just another first, and I've said this before, and I see my good friend Rep. Jerry Cassidy here. Thank you for being here, Rep. But I said this, if you're there the first night, the first round will be on me, okay? It will be on me. Just don't tell my wife. But listen, I'm just so proud to be here. I'm so proud about the diversity and also just coming together and embracing. And, you know, we can talk about really what COVID has done. COVID has killed 511 of our fellow Brocktonians. But it's a good thing to come together and remember the past, but plan out the future. Plan out the future. So Jamie and Jasmine are the future, but there's many of you here, I can look around the room. The future is bright in the City of Champions. There's no doubt about that. So with that being said, I'm gonna welcome the Hodges sisters to the podium. I want to thank them. I want everybody to embrace their shared vision of a better Brockton. I also want to proudly give a proclamation today to both. So this is a proclamation. Whereas during Black History Month, the City of Brockton celebrates the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development. And whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our attention to the continued need to address racial injustice and continue to improve community relationships that symbolize our demographic ideals. Whereas the City of Brockton continues to work towards becoming an inclusive community in which all citizens are respected and recognized for their culture and the ways which it enriches our city, our commonwealth, and our nation. Whereas the City of Brockton is proud to honor the history and contributions of African Americans in our city, our state, and our country, therefore I, Robert F. Sullivan, as the Mayor of Brockton, hereby proclaim the month of February in the City of Brockton as Black History Month. I urge all residents in the City of Brockton and beyond to join me in observing this proud and historic month. And I proudly sign this the first day of February 2022, and I want to present it to both of you.